My name is David Dunlap. I'm a private investor now, but spent 35 years in the oil field service industry. I discovered Eyes on Me through an invitation to the executive dinner. I was really touched by the entire mission. It seemed like a great organization and a terrific mission, but nothing that was drawing me particularly close to it. And I kept hearing stories and understanding that maybe there was a place for me to contribute here, and not just write a check. Because we do that every time we go to one of these events. But it wasn't just about writing a check, and I realized maybe there's a way for me to offer my time. So after last year's event, I had an evening dinner with Doug Orr and talked a little bit more about my impressions of the organization. And I told him, I said, hey, look, I don't know what else I can do, but if you see a fit for me, let me know. And very shortly after that, he said, I have a fit for you. And he said, it's a guy that I've done some mentoring with, and he really needs to move on to somebody else. His name's Austin Lanier, and I'd really like to put you two guys together.
I stepped into Eyes on Me with a lack of trust, skepticism on people's motives. When Trey first sat down and had his little pamphlets of discipleship and stuff, I was like looking at him like, bro, what in the world are you trying to sell me? Little did I know that would be life-changing for me, but I had to come to the end of myself before I realized, hey, I cannot do this alone. I need to lean on other people that are ready and willing to help me. Trey was always telling me, hey, you focus on God's business, God will take care of your business. I had all these music dreams of wanting to blow up in the music world, tried chasing the Christian labels, got rejected essentially by all of them, then found myself moving from Nashville back to Houston. And that's where I stumbled into the public school market and started realizing that I can utilize my talents as a music artist to gain traction and influence in the schools, and then also partner that with motivational speaking. And so motivational speaking as a business took off for me even more so than my music did. I had no ability to run a schedule. I was overwhelmed with anxiety to even check my bank account because I did not want to see how broke I was. And Trey was like, okay, we've done well addressing some of the spiritual issues. Now let me partner you up with a goals coach through Ambassadors Club.
Ambassadors Club is a 6-month program where they continue to be discipled by a Paul, with them as a Timothy, in terms of the spiritual discipleship. But here we also pair them with a mentor and what we call a goals coach. And that goals coach is with them to talk about really 3 things. It's around their career, their finances, and their family. And Eyes on Me is really centered around not only spiritual growth, but growth in your potential while you're here on earth, and that you're living out your highest potential and what you've been called to do.
And so he introduced me to Chip Miller, who was just life-changing for me, man. We started meeting twice weekly, and then he saw my persistence and was like, yo, let's meet up once a week. And so we started meeting up once a week for, it must have been near 2 years. He helped me essentially take my dreams of just what I wanted to do in my heart and filter it through like the professionalism of business. He went from a space of being kind of retired when he became my goals coach to ending up like unretiring a little bit and traveling the world a lot. And so though we are still close today, our relationship shifted from meeting once weekly. And so I was in this weird place where he helped me build my business to start being successful, traveling across the world and the country. But then all of a sudden I was spread too thin, feeling like, yo, I can't juggle everything. And now my goals coach is kind of missing from my life. And so I was persistently hitting up Doug and Trey like, man, is there anyone else that y'all know that could really help me level up from where I'm at now in my business to the next step?
I said that I would coach him myself for 6 months, and that 6 months ended up becoming almost a year of me personally coaching Austin, because I've known Austin a long time and I know him to be very good soil.
Doug gave me my own homework from him because he wanted to make sure that I wasn't playing. So Doug was like, here, go do these things and research all the names of all these people in these districts. And I wrote like 5 to 10 pages of notes filled to the brim for Doug. And once I did that for him, he's like, okay.
And Austin was continuing to grow and continuing to have ambition. And then as I had been continuing to have a relationship with Dave, I felt that both people would be just blessed by that relationship, that Austin was ready for somebody of the caliber of Dave, that Dave had time to commit to this, and that Dave would be energized by the energy that Austin brings.
I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't. We met in a coffee shop, and Austin comes in, and he is larger than life, right? I mean, he is larger than life. He lights up the room wherever he goes, and what an incredible blessing it's been to have the experiences I've had with Austin. Austin had a vision for a business, and that idea is based around what he does with school assemblies. And Austin's been very successful in doing school assemblies all around the country. What he really wants to do is be more impactful in his own community. And so building a business model that's a sustainable business model that involves assemblies in schools to impact kids and impact their lives. That's really the heart and soul of what he's trying to do.
The first time we met, man, he was just all ears to listen. I could tell his humility immediately, because I know he's like a business genius, yet when it comes to my specific business, he doesn't know exactly how it works. And so, you know, it was just a process of him asking a lot of questions, really wanting to learn and get to know what I do and how he can most effectively help me.
It's not like I walked in and had all the answers for him. Yeah, most of what I do is listen and offer words of advice and, you know, direction. I do hold him accountable, which, you know, with Austin is great because he actually seems to appreciate accountability. But every time we leave, he's got homework.
Goals coaches are meant to challenge you, although they are there to love you as well. There is an intentionality to move forward and challenge you and stretch you. I had like this anxiety where I'm like, I know we're gonna talk about some stuff, like talking about the numbers, talking about the math, talking about the bank account, especially when you're broke. That's a hard thing. And so me just shifting my mindset from, okay, well, I'm not gonna get anywhere if I ignore the fact that I'm broke or if I ignore my schedule. But if I go to my goals coach, as tough and as frustrating as that may be, I want to grow.
There's lots of ways that people deal with their life when they have experiences, when they're like me and they're old guys. And, you know, they go play golf every day and enjoy life and do those things maybe they didn't get to do while they were in a full-time working career. I get so much joy from sharing that experience and from rekindling some of the lessons that I've learned over the years and, you know, maybe giving somebody else an opportunity to learn from those same lessons.
And so what he said is, man, don't beat yourself up. You know, you've ended up in this position by climbing and grinding and hustling, and you've learned some hard lessons and realities. Let's apply those truths to what you want to do in the future.
We've both been on this journey of, you know, kind of defining his vision in a way that we both think is going to be ultimately successful in achieving what he wants to do, which is to have that successful business model that is serving schools in our community with his wonderful talent.
Dave and I got together right before Christmas. He had a big smile on his face when I got there. And Dave's always got a big smile. He's just a very positive guy. But I said, tell me, how's it going? And he said, man, I'm having so much fun. I am getting so much energy out of this. And he said, the coolest part is I have so much more street credibility with my kids, right? That here's a really cool guy that wants to spend time with me.
I did not expect that I was going to be getting as much out of this as he's getting out of this. I mean, you think as a mentor, what you're doing is you're giving of yourself to someone else. But Austin is so strong spiritually, and he's so strong in his desire to help kids in this community, that it's infectious, right? It's infectious. And every time that I meet with him, I walk away with a more full heart than I had when we started.
I tell him, man, thank you so much for you're really changing my life. And he says, man, you're more of a blessing to me than I am to you. But I think that shows the fullness of the process of mentorship, because I know that when I speak life into others and their life is impacted, that fills me up. And so the impact that he must be seeing himself having on me, I know that's filling him up.
You know, the thing about it is, look, I'm busy. I got lots of other things to do. I've got plenty of things that tug on my time. If I didn't get out of this relationship with Austin, what I get every time we meet, I wouldn't still be doing it. But instead, I'm kind of at his beck and call. If he needs to meet, I'm going to figure out a way to do it. I'll fit it into my schedule. And, you know, maybe it's easier in my life now than it was when I worked 80 hours a week. But I do believe if I ever had the experience when I was working 80 hours a week, I'd still find the time to make this work because it's so fulfilling.
He's taught me a lot of principles about just being a thoughtful person, man. I mean, a lot of the business principles, man, they're really related to just being selfless and caring about the person that you're trying to reach.
He is impacting lives every time he stands in front of a group of kids. He is saving someone's life. And that is his mission. That is really what he truly wants to do. And I think what he does can and will be very helpful to the overall mission of Eyes on Me. And I hope that there are people out there like me that realize that they've got incredible gifts as a result of a career, a successful career, and they do have the ability to give something back. And what my message to any of those people would be, you're going to get more out of this than what you give. Your heart's going to be more full as a result of whatever experience you have with people at Eyes on Me.